And polls have closed on the first phase of voting in Myanmar's first election since the military coup in 2021. Voter turnout was lower than expected, but the election widely dismissed as a sham by many human rights activists.
For the first time in 5 years, Myanmar is going to the polls. The ruling military junta has granted journalists rare access to the country to cover the general election. The Union Solidarity and Development Party is backed by the military. Out on the campaign trail, they insist the election is free and fair. The UN Special Envoy for Human Rights has said this is a sham election. What do you think about that?
That is what he says, and that's his opinion. But we have sovereignty over our nation, and we have our own rights. We only need the will of our people. We only need to satisfy them.
But shortly after the campaign team leaves the market, the mood is cagey.
I don't know. No one in my community is talking about the elections.
Are people scared?
In my neighbourhood, nobody talks about the election. People are scared. That's why they don't speak up, because of the government.
A climate of fear, a history of violence. It's nearly 5 years since the military seized power by force, jailing Aung San Suu Kyi, Myanmar's democratically elected leader. Her party, the National League for Democracy, cannot run in this election. This is why people are scared. Thousands of activists, many of whom supported the NLD like this man, have also been imprisoned by the junta.
I was beaten during military interrogation and at the entrance of the prison by the prison staff. They shackled prisoners for 45 days when they moved them from insane prison to Dayawati prison. We weren't allowed to write poetry or read political literature. If they found us doing that, people were locked in solitary confinement and beaten.
This is the first stage in Myanmar's protracted election. In the last few months, hundreds have been arrested and jailed for criticising the vote. There are multiple parties on the ballot here, but none pose a threat to the military rulers, who are hoping a civilian government will legitimise their power. But this is the reality for many civilians across the country. A civil war triggered by the coup still rages. Commander Tin Oo is fighting against the junta on the front line in central Myanmar with the People's Defence Force, a civilian-led resistance group.
The junta is intentionally carrying out air attacks on civilians in the area we control. They are trying to intimidate and terrify the people.
Can you tell me a bit more about what you think will happen after this election?
Nothing will change after the sham election. The fighting will carry on.
The junta says this election, split into 3 phases, will provide a path to peace. But there will be many, here and around the world, concerned it will only serve to strengthen an oppressive regime. Shingi Marike, Sky News, Yangon.